the deal, everyone. Stu says to me, when I die, make sure you make me a party. And it's got to be a roast. Because everybody should be happy and not sad. And I said, what a shame. You won't hear all the great stories that people have about you. So, in my little head, I said, hey, we do roast now. And that's what we're going to do. So I have asked everybody here.
What else did I ask for my funeral?
Remember, Tom?
A streaming loop
A streaming loop of what? What? We didn't tell everybody.
What show do we like?
What show do you like? Life in Pieces. He likes Life in Pieces, and so do I. It's a great show. So streaming at his funeral will be Life in Pieces. Okay? But that's not going to happen for a long time. Not a long time.
And nobody will remember Life in Pieces.
So I have asked everyone to bring their stories and their tales. I'm very new at this. I'm only 7 years old. All of you have been much more years. So I will tell my little tales, and then all of you can join in and tell yours. Okay? I want to just start by saying this was not love at first sight. Absolutely not. This was, you look like my grandmother, and I don't think there's anything happening here. And that's true. True. So I changed my clothing, I changed my hair, now I have hair, and he doesn't. And so we found out we had a lot of things in common. A lot of things. First, we're slobs. We're proud of it. And you know what happens when we clean up? We can't find anything. So it's good that we keep everything a mess. Okay, everybody understands that? We're also hoarders. Okay? So if you have looked at any of the pictures there, his clothing is still there. Okay? So it's in the closet. He's still wearing it. He just took out a bunch of sweatshirts that, you know, he can count 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. Yup, still have it. So it's going to be a lot because I'm moving in November. Hopefully he will have a closet or something. So maybe I will have a little room to put my stuff. We hope. Okay. Another thing is he doesn't care about expiration dates. So I need some Tylenol, I need some ibuprofen. We go into the cabinet and what do we see? Oh, it's 2011. 2013.
That's the fresh stuff.
It's still good.
And he says, no expiration date needed. That's fine. You know why we don't need anything? Because this man is a healthy man. Okay? He's the only one I know. He goes to the doctor, but doesn't get a checkup. He goes in and guess what happens? They're talking politics. Affordable Care Act, Trump, and I say to him, what was your blood pressure? We didn't really do that. We didn't do the blood thing. I mean, because the guy is healthy. He really is a healthy guy. So we are having a great time, as you can see. We laugh together and we sing songs together. As you can see, we're both a little crazy together, casual. Let me just say about casual. The first time, or maybe the second time, he says to me, we're just going to sit and relax. And I say to him, for how long? And now he says, you know what, you're really good at relaxing. He taught me relaxation. He taught me how to be lazy. He taught me how to
I'm good at these things.
really good. Lay back, hang out. This is very good for an A personality. He's Z. Back down to Z. Okay? You couldn't get any calmer than him, which is very good for me. Very good. So, we absolutely look forward to all wonderful more years. Now the 70s together. Nice dating an older man.
When Stu goes to the doctor, he's the only person I know that speaks to the doctor about smoking. I don't mean cigarettes. And the doctor says, really? And he says, yeah. And he says, okay, keep it up. You're healthy. I don't know if anybody's gone over to Stu's house and looked at his freezer. Well, Stu's freezer is compact. You could find things in there from, I found in there veggies from 2011. We had corn from 2001, all frozen in the freezer. They're wrapped and the ass taken out so they can last forever, he keeps telling us. Fruit from 2000. 2000. But it's still good and you can still eat it, don't worry. It's in the freezer and it's shrink wrapped. It's good. Oh, this is good. Fish. 2013. Nice fish.
It's still swimming.
Oh, this was the best. Oh, let's have a grill. Oh, great. I got hamburgers in there. Oh, really? What are your hamburgers? From 2001. They're still good. I'll put them on the grill. You'll love them. The best of all is Deborah's cheesecake. He cuts it into little, when I say little pieces, 2 forks full. But these are very vintage, 2015, because they don't last long, because he keeps eating them. You cannot get into Stu's freezer because it's packed. You open it up and everything falls out, all little packages. But we still love them and we still go over there and eat.
All true. We just ate turkey from 2016.
Correct.
Delicious.
So one of his friends, Tom, emailed me, as I asked many people to do. He emailed me his stories, okay? So here we are. Stu. I have many fond memories of the time I lived in New York City and would see Stu and Linda on a regular basis. I was thrilled to reconnect with him after a number of years. Stu was my freshman RA at RIT. There you go. They both taught me a lot. For starters, Stu and Linda taught me that in a relationship it is okay to fight. It does not mean you're getting a divorce. Good. Stu, as all his friends know, is a calm and can-do person. I remember ever so fondly the Sundays I would go with him and sometimes Linda to the flea market. And by the way, he loves flea markets. He taught me how to find value in things others were ready to discard and easy to fix. Stu helped me buy my first, quote, boat car. Must have been a huge car, huh? It was huge. An old Chrysler that I did not have to worry about one stealing. Poor mileage, but it could carry everything anybody would want, including my bike in the trunk. He coached me through repairs and upkeep. I also have many fond memories of going out on their boat, clamming and going to Fire Island. Stu and Linda knew how to have fun and stop working. Of course, while I lived in New York City, Stu and Linda came to my various birthday parties in Little Italy, while it still existed, and of course, my many square dances. Remember the door prizes? He would always bring Sharon and John. Not to be forgotten are my many visits to his various print shops over the years, including the original Turber, Hampshire office. Last but not least have been our hours of conversations about politics and world events. Love them all. Stu now continues his adventures with Lisa. The ride should be thrilling. Happy birthday, Stu. Looking forward to number 8 and number 9. Love, Tom.
My brother was with us, and I seen him looking, and I said, I know that he looks like Dad. And he does. He looks so much like Dad. And there's very special things over the years, and thank you for that. We had so much fun, and a lot of laughter, and that's really good for a broken soul. Thank you for that. I love you for that.
Several years ago, we were talking about food, a bunch of us were together, and Deborah said, you know, I make a really good cheesecake. And I said, yeah, but you know what? I make a really good cheesecake. And even though everybody has their own special cheesecakes, mine is kind of the best. Somebody that worked for me, Mike Morrow, his wife, Donna, made me a cheesecake for birthdays and holidays and everything. And I begged her for years and years to give me the recipe, and she would not. And eventually she broke down and finally gave me the recipe. I made it. It wasn't as good as hers, but it was still better than anybody else's. Deborah makes a cheesecake, and I said, I got to tell you, the standard is very high. Well, it was better than my cheesecake. And I have never said that before. And so Deborah would bring us cheesecakes, of which we would finish half or less. The rest go in the freezer. And I still have 5 or 6 quarters of cheesecake in the refrigerator. And every other week or so, I move it to the refrigerator to defrost so that I will have Deborah's cheesecake when I want. Thank you, Deborah.
He has a secret passion.
Oh, tuna fish. My favorite. That's
There's your mayonnaise.
wow.
It's all set. He tells me he has a
I
tuna
gotta
fish
leave
sandwich
now.
every
I'm
week. When I first met Stu, we were at his party, and he said, come in the shed. And I'm like, okay. Didn't know him at all. I got to know him very well then.
Thank you, Donna.
Enjoy your tuna.
We both love tuna. Both. If I have a favorite food, it's probably tuna on soggy white bread, mayo, and onions.
Stu and I met through the New York Club of Printing House Crafts Club. It was a very old, established printing group. Stu was the vice president at the time when I joined the club, and it was towards the end of the year, and I was made the assistant treasurer, which meant I collected the money at the door. Well, right before Stu became president, some people objected to the fact that I was this new kid on the block handling the money. And it wasn't money, it was all checks. So, in any case, there was this big political brouhaha that happened. Do you remember this? And they basically brought us into a room and interrogated us all one by one. And when they got to Stu, who was last, Helen and I were outside the room, the screaming and yelling and shrieking that went on. He was fighting on my behalf. And I just couldn't believe that this person I barely knew was inside really touting for me. So we left that meeting and he and I were walking back downtown. His office was on 20th Street, mine was on 13th Street. We were walking down 7th Avenue and I put my arm around him and I said, Stu, I'm a big guy, but if ever I'm in a fight, I want you in my corner. Because I'm telling you, he was a feisty little fighter. And I'll never forget that. He has always pulled my cookies out of the fire. He's the only guy that when I would say, Stu, I need a favor, he wouldn't say, what is it? He would say, okay, what do you need? And that meant a lot to me.
When I first started working for Stewart, I was an employee for Stewart, and I used to do deliveries. Okay, I got hired, and knowing by Richie took me to his job, and Stewart hired me. By then, I've been working for him almost like, say, 20 years. And during that time that I was with him and working, I did a lot. I learned a lot. I operated from delivery, became pressman. A very good, successful pressman. I operated presses, I fixed pressmen. I did a lot of moving jobs for him, and all. I bent a lot. Okay, I was there for him. Okay, he was a great boss to me. You know, he did a lot for me and more. Okay, and he helped me do a lot of things. I grew from it, you know, and I kept growing. Like he said, just go ahead and go ahead. He never told me, you know, he just said, just keep going, follow yourself. I did, I went on. Okay? I'm not with him anymore, but I'm somewhere else. But I kept very good friendship, credibility, everything. You know? And I really thank that, you know, that I'm still, you know, his very good friend, you know? You know, he did a lot for me. And I thank him for that, you know? Really. You don't know who do it. You don't know.
This man who we were together for 20, well, we've been together 30 years.
Yes,
maybe
32
more.
years.
Linda and I decided at one point we'd like to get a player piano.
Yes.
And we go over to this place and look at it and
We could do it.
play a piano. I call Manny and I say, you know, let's see if we can move this thing. He comes out, snowy day. I'm talking about 8 inches of snow on the ground, front stoop, everything. I say, let's see if we can do this. I grab the piano and I want to see how heavy it is. Well, if it had been screwed to the floor, it would have moved the same amount as when I moved. I mean, nothing moved. It was like welded to the floor. I said, forget it, we can't do this. He says, yeah, we can do this. I said, no way. Well, he drags probably a 1,500-pound piano through this person's house, down steps, up a U-Haul thing.
With no problem.
Well,
Got it home.
it was killing me, and I was just watching. But that's just one of 100 stories that he and I have.
Yes.
And he's doing really well at his job. His new job, which is 15 years now, he's probably been doing.
Yeah, 15 years.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Most of you know me, some of you do not. And most people know that the best neighbor is a fence. Well, this neighbor and this neighbor have a common fence with a gate that opens between our backyards, and we have been best friends for 35 years. And let me tell you, if you ever need something and you don't have it, don't listen to these people telling Stuart not to save everything. Because whenever I need something, Stu, do you have this? 1 minute, Betty Ann, I'll get it. And he always has it, except we don't eat that expired. I love you.
I love her.
He's my best friend. In case you don't have a male best friend, you better get one. But not him.
It all started when I was 13, and my stepdad worked with Stu, and he used to bring me into his office, and I was a little 13-year-old secretary who would write little notes. Whenever they needed anything, I used to run and, do it to be helpful. As time went on, I was 21, coming back from Florida, and I called Stu, and he said, come on in. And a couple of days later, he's like, you're hired. You're my secretary. As years go on, not only was I just a secretary, Stu was like a father to me. I didn't have that father figure. No matter what I said, no matter how I said it, it was always positive. It was never, yeah, your father's this, your father. He was like, no, maybe your father's this, maybe because of this, maybe because of that. I didn't have the best parents, but we made the best of it. He always gave me the best advice. And I kept that as I went on. If I ever had problems with math, we used to sit in the office and he used to bring out the ruler. And he used to teach me the math, no matter what it was. He was my teacher, he was my dad, and I thank you for it all. Thank you for being here. My stepdad passing, my mom passing, he's still there. My kids love him. I know we lost a couple of years, but I had to find myself. But I'm back, and I thank you. Oh wait, so yesterday I'm on the phone with him, and he says to me, I was talking about my dad who's 70 years old, and he's decrepit. So there's no way I can do the things that I can do with Stu, like go to a water park or walk the beach. And he said to me, yeah, you know, I really can't find anybody that wants to go to the water parks. And I stood there and said, well, maybe you could bring my kids with you. Because I used to tell him when we went to the water parks together, I think my equilibrium is off. I can't get on that. No, come on. I'd get up there. I'd be sick as a dog when I got off. But he got me on that ride because he wanted somebody to get on the ride with him.
Another person I love. As a matter of fact, there probably isn't anybody in this room here that I don't love. When we first met Frank, he was a lost soul. We met him at Eisenhower Park at a concert, and he didn't bring any food with him, didn't bring any chairs with him, didn't have anything. And we took him under our wing, and we fed him, and we nurtured him. A fun time. You know, I have 100 stories about each of you. Literally. We need a smaller venue. We have to do 6 at a time or so. It's very nice. And you're all great friends, and I appreciate your showing up and sharing this day with me. Which I thought was going to be lunch. I'm glad that Lisa's such a good organizer, and I'm amazed that she's still able to do this stuff without giving any clue, 0 clue.
From our neighbors across the street, Beth and Carol, and she wrote up something. I can tell the story, but not as good as she's got it down. It's about our Florida trip. Okay, ready? One of our funniest Stu memories occurred during a visit when he and Lisa spent the night at our Florida home. They were actually staying on the West Coast in Fort Myers with other former Granada neighbors, Sal and Val. The 4 of them drove across Alligator Alley with suitcases and bottles of booze. Stu brought a gigantic bottle of Kahlua, since he remembered how much he enjoyed the mudslides we made for him on a previous trip. We all gathered together to celebrate Sal's 65th birthday. As soon as everyone arrived, Carol and I started mixing cocktails. Stu, of course, wanted mudslides. Carol was happy to oblige and made a picture of them. Stu merrily kept drinking until the picture was no more. I marinated and grilled up filet mignon, which was served along with sauteed onions and mushrooms, asparagus, and baked potatoes. We sat down for dinner outside in the lanai. Everyone started to devour the steak dinner and murmur how good it was, except Stu. He was taking a few first bites. Next thing we see is that Stu's head is in his plate. Still smiling, and then it's in our kitchen sink. And then Lisa had to escort him to the bedroom, where he remained out cold for the rest of the night. The next morning, however, Stu being Stu, wanted to know where his delicious filet mignon went. That's the first time I'd ever seen him drunk. It was interesting.
There were herbs along with the mudslides.
There was.
I was out.
Anyway, thank you all for your
And
wonderful.
after Lisa put me to bed, I said, come and get me in an hour and see if I can stand. And I couldn't.
The room is spinning, he said.
Yeah, it was
Spinning. Thank you all.
And then after we left, Carol sent me a picture of her eating my leftover steak.
Thank you
you all.
What year was it?